Yeah.
Government begs labor. Fuel subsidy this year will be only 900 billion. It's insanity. I use very emotive words because I feel it. I feel it. And I'm telling Labour not to joke with the life of the people. They've said it before. They threatened before, no minimum wage, no election. Labour should know that they hold responsibility for lives of millions of people. No minimum wage, no election. No election, no minimum wage. Now they're begging. Yes.
So the subsidy talk, because
no, it's not there. I've got to tell you, it's not there.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't think it's not there. That's it, your nation. A cartoon. Nigeria at 51. You have been a problematic adult. At 51, you cannot still feed yourself. I've said I still maintain subsidy is a fraud.
How is it?
I tell you. And I challenge the government. I challenge the president and the minister of finance. They face me on silent television to bring their figures. A fraud. Now, how is it a fraud? What is subsidy? General Buhari was oil minister before he became head of state. He appointed me oil minister 18 January 1984. By the grace of God and by the grace of my country. General Buhari, I repeatedly said, no oil subsidy. Yesterday was in the paper, front page. It's a fraud. Now, we cannot be irresponsible to be saying the same thing for 15 years. No one has controverted us. No one has challenged us. What is subsidy? There are many definitions, but let me bring it down to the list. Gari is a staple commodity in Nigeria. Let's assume Gari sells 100 naira per bag in Nigeria. Our farmers are producing Gari to feed all of us. A time comes when, because of bad harvest, they don't have enough Gari to feed Nigerians. So Nigeria goes across the neighboring country where Gari is in surplusity and buys Gari for 110 naira per bag. Bring it to Nigeria and still sell it at 100 naira per bag for our citizens. 10 naira is subsidy. Because government must do that. Because government, Edmund Fox said, is a contrivance of human wisdom to take care of the people. Now, that is not the same thing in the petroleum industry. We have 4 refineries. The first was built in 1965, Port Harcourt refinery, by 60,000 barrels a day. The next was built in Warri, 1978. During the Civil War, the Port Harcourt refinery was badly damaged. So rehabilitated in 1970. So there's need to take care of the future. So 1978, we built the Warri refinery. 1980, we built the Kaduna refinery. 1984, as minister, I signed the contract of the new Port Harcourt refinery. 150,000 barrels a day. And it was rated by world authorities as one of the best in Africa. And the experts tell me that when you build a refinery, it takes 20 to 30 years to have major problems. The total consumption, the total capacity of a refining capacity is 445,000 barrels a day.
That's the current one now?
Yes, the total now. Call it now, 445,000 barrels a day. We need 300,000 barrels a day. No subsidy. God has given us petrol under our soil. We have refinery on land. We have petrol stations on land. Where's subsidy?
We've been told that those refineries are not performing.
They've got to sabotage it. I've been vindicated. So what is happening? They go abroad, they sabotage their refineries. They sabotage their refineries. I wrote about this, thank God, 1995, 1996.
That's long ago.
Breakdown of refineries, sabotage theory, Vanguard. Breakdown refineries. Now I've been vindicated, to cut a long story short. Only 2009, House of Representatives, refineries sabotaged. I've been vindicated. Senator Uboji, refineries sabotaged. When head of state, Absalam Abubakar, whom I respect a lot, was head of state, they asked him about the question of refineries. You know what he said? I don't want to open the Pandora's box of our refineries. So they deliberately sabotage refineries to go and import fuel, refined fuel, to charge Nigerians. That's not subsidy. That's fraud. Subsidy is an organized fraud by government, orchestrated by government. I feel emotional about it because it's a lie. Now, if I tell the amount of, okay, people are importing fuel to the country. During Buhari's time, petrol was selling 10 kobo per barrel, per liter. When it went increased to 15, incidentally they said, I take this opportunity to correct wrong impression. We never talked about petroleum subsidy in Buhari's time. There was none.
When did we begin to import fuel?
Babangida's time. It's precisely like that.
Why were we not importing it during Buhari's time?
Because we have the petroleum industry managed properly. There was no oil shake. After Buhari, every head of state is either oil shake or is oil shake. You cannot serve God. If you want to serve your country, you must serve your country. It's a great joy, great. So they started import fuel at great cost. At great cost.
Because this is actually, we're trying to see how we can break it down. Actually, we'll get into some other issues. Because if we say we've been talking about this subsidy for this longer period, and with all of this you've been showing, meaning you've been talking about all of this with all the facts and figures, according to you, have you, well, you left government long ago, have you reached out to the government with all of these findings to really tell them that, look, what we should be looking at is the refineries, fixing the refineries?
Not the time the West, everybody has told them this. They will not do it because the refineries, as I say, my sabotage to it, will be currently sabotaged to cause recurrent fuel scarcity, to justify recurrent fuel importation.
In 1984, were we exporting fuel?
We are exporting fuel. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, we are exporting fuel. Why are we doing that? We have what we call offshore processing. Offshore processing. In fact, not Buhari's time, it was Zagari's time. We inherited it. What is offshore processing? So, in a particular period, our refineries cannot give us all we want for the country. So we send some crude oil abroad through, not through touts, through joint venture partners. They refine this crude oil, bring back to Nigeria for us what we need to meet up the shortfall. Sell the rest and put in our account. We never import a liter. I asked them in Vision 2010, how come during Buhari's time, Nigeria was not only self-sufficient in petroleum products, but exporting? The reason is simple. Fraudulence took over. We are not importing fuel, it's unnecessary.
Well,
and Labour must put their feet down, otherwise they will answer for history.
As it is, it seems that, you already quoted General Abdulsalami Abubakar, who said that, he was not willing to open the Pandora's box of the refineries. Recently, Senate President David Mark, we heard him say that he's very sure that there could be, or there is, a cartel.
He's correct.
Behind the oil industry.
Mafia.
A mafia. He said, he actually went on to expatiate. And if we all know what a mafia is like, we know that they operate at very top levels, and they can also be very dangerous. Let me put it that way. So if we're not willing to open that, would you not, in a way, say support the federal government's, will I say, reluctance now, and not being able to, not tackling that, but looking for a way to actually stifle them? By removing the fuel subsidy.
Why it's difficult to contain them? It's simple. That you use a thief to catch a thief is nonsensical. What if the two thieves